They smile to your face, but behind your back, it's a different story. Here's how to spot the people in your life who secretly can't stand you and what to do about it. You ever get that gut feeling something's off with someone close to you? They say all the right things, but their actions don't match. Maybe it's a friend, a coworker, even family. And the worst part, you can't quite put your finger on why. That's because hate doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers. And today we're breaking down the 8 subtle signs that someone in your inner circle secretly resents you, plus the smartest way to handle it. Here's the thing, most people won't outright tell you they dislike you. Instead, they'll drop hints, tiny, almost invisible red flags. Miss them, and you could waste years on fake friendships, one-sided relationships, or even sabotage. But catch them early, you save yourself a ton of pain. So let's get into it. 1. They rarely initiate contact. Let's talk about something you've probably noticed but maybe didn't want to admit. Think about the people in your life, friends, family, co-workers. Now ask yourself, who actually puts in the effort to reach out first? Who's making the calls, sending the texts, setting up the plans? Because here's the uncomfortable truth. If it's always you, that's not an accident. That's a message. People who truly value you will show it. They'll want to talk to you, see you, know what's going on in your life. Not because they have to, but because they genuinely want to. But when someone only responds when you chase them, when every conversation starts because you made it happen, that's not friendship, that's convenience. You're an option to them, not a priority. And listen, life gets busy. Everyone has moments where they're distracted, overwhelmed, or just bad at keeping in touch. That's normal. But when it's a pattern, when you're always the one keeping the connection alive, that's not forgetfulness. That's a choice. Pay attention to how you feel when you interact with them. Do they seem engaged, interested, happy to hear from you? Or do you get short replies, long delays, and a sense that you're bothering them? Your gut already knows the answer. The real question is, why are you ignoring it? Because here's what happens when you keep pouring energy into someone who doesn't reciprocate. You start doubting yourself. You wonder if you're too needy, if you're expecting too much. You make excuses for them. Maybe they're just busy. Maybe they don't realize. But deep down, you know. So what do? First, stop chasing. Match their energy. If they're not reaching out, don't force it. See how long it takes for them to notice. And if they don't, that's your answer. Your time and attention are valuable. Don't waste them on people who treat you like an afterthought. Surround yourself with those who show up, who make the effort, who prove through their actions, not just their words, that you matter to them. 2. Their compliments feel backhanded. You know those comments that sound nice on the surface but leave you feeling worse? The ones that make you pause and think, wait, was that actually a compliment? That's not kindness. That's a backhanded compliment, and it's one of the clearest signs someone doesn't really like you. Real praise builds you up. It's sincere, specific, and leaves you feeling good. But a backhanded compliment, it's designed to look like praise while actually cutting you down. It's the difference between you look amazing and you look so much better than usual. One lifts you. The other, it's a dig disguised as a compliment. These people are masters of subtle put-downs. They'll say things like, "You're so brave for wearing that outfit," which really means, "I wouldn't be caught dead in that." Or, "It's amazing how confident you are," which translates to, "I can't believe you're not embarrassed." They'll smile while they say it, making it hard to call them out without looking oversensitive. And that's the point. They want to undermine you without looking like the bad guy. They want you to feel small while they play innocent. Because if you react, they'll act shocked. "I was just giving you a compliment. Why are you so sensitive?" But here's the thing, you're not imagining it. That uneasy feeling you get, that's your intuition telling you something's off. Real admiration doesn't leave you questioning yourself. So how do you handle it? First, recognize it for what it is. When a compliment feels off, trust that feeling. Second, don't play their game. You don't have to confront them, just stop seeking their approval. Their opinions don't define you. And most importantly, don't let their words. They want you to doubt yourself. Don't give them that power. The people who truly care about you will lift you up, not leave you wondering where the knife is hidden. They mimic your success. There's something unsettling about watching someone mirror your life, not out of admiration, but out of quiet competition. You land a promotion and suddenly they're talking non-stop about their own career ambition. You buy a new car and out of nowhere they're just looking at the same model. You share exciting news about your relationship, and within days they're dropping hints about their own love life. On the surface it might seem harmless, even flattering, but when you look closer you realize they're not inspired by you, they're threatened by you. This isn't about healthy motivation. This is about someone who can't stand to see you succeed unless they're succeeding more. They don't celebrate your wins, they rush to match or overshadow them, and if they can't, that's when the subtle digs start. Must be nice, they'll say with a tight smile. Or I could do that too if I wanted. They'll downplay your achievements while scrambling to replicate them, not because they genuinely want those things themselves, but because your success makes them feel inadequate. Pay attention to how they react when good things happen for you. Do their eyes light up with genuine happiness? Do they ask thoughtful questions, cheer you on, and make you feel supported? Or is there a pause, a split-second flash of something darker before they force congratulations? That pause tells you everything. Real support doesn't come with strings attached. True friends don't feel the need to one-up you or rush out to buy the same things you have. They're secure enough in their own lives to be happy for you without turning your joy into a competition. But when someone secretly resents you, your success becomes a personal insult to them. It highlights what they haven't achieved, what they fear they never will. And instead of using that as fuel to grow, they use it as an excuse to diminish you. So what do? First, stop sharing your wins with them. If they can't celebrate you, they don't deserve access to your life. Second, watch their actions, not their word. Anyone can fake a congratulations, but their behavior, the sudden hustle, the copied purchases, the backhanded remarks, will always reveal the truth. And finally, protect your energy. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, not those who see your light as a threat. Your success isn't a challenge for others to meet. It's a testament to your hard work, and anyone who truly cares about you will see it that way. 4. They gaslight your concerns. You know that feeling when you confront someone about something that hurts you and suddenly you're the problem. You bring up a legitimate issue and they twist it into proof that you're too sensitive or can't take a joke. You express disappointment, and they act like you're overreacting. You walk away from the conversation feeling confused, doubting your own feelings, wondering if maybe they're right, maybe you are being dramatic. That's not a misunderstanding. That's gaslighting. Gaslighting is one of the most insidious forms of manipulation because it doesn't just dismiss your feelings, it makes you question your own reality. It's designed to make you feel crazy for having perfectly normal reactions to disrespect. They'll say things like, "You're imagining things," or "I never said that," even when you know exactly what they said. They'll laugh off their behavior as just joking while you're left feeling hurt and small. And the more you try to explain yourself, the more they paint you as irrational. This isn't about occasional miscommunication. This is a pattern, a way to keep you off balance, to make you second-guess yourselves so they never have to take accountability. Because if they can convince you that you're the problem, they never have to change. They can keep treating you poorly while making you feel like it's your fault for taking things the wrong way. The worst part, it works. Over time, you start to doubt your instinct. You stop trusting your own judgment. You apologize for things you didn't do wrong just to keep the peace. And the more you shrink yourself to accommodate their behavior, the more power they have over you. But here's the truth. Your feelings are valid. If something hurts you, it hurts you. No one gets to decide how you should feel. And anyone who consistently dismisses your emotions isn't someone who has your best interests at heart. So how do you break free? First, trust yourself. If something feels off, it probably is. Second, stop explaining. You don't need to justify your feelings to someone who's committed to misunderstanding you. And finally, set boundaries. If they refuse to acknowledge your concerns, refuse to engage. You deserve relationships where your feelings are respected, not weaponized against you. Gaslighting only works if you play along. Don't give them that power. Your reality is yours. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. They're always too busy for you. Let's talk about a painful truth you might be avoiding. When someone constantly claims to be too busy for you, not just occasionally, when life genuinely gets hectic, but as a consistent pattern. They cancel plans last minute with vague excuses. Your messages go unanswered for days, even while you see them active elsewhere. They swear they want to meet up, but somehow that day never comes. Here's what you need to understand. This isn't about their schedule. It's about your place in their life. People make time for what matters to them. That's just how human nature works. Think about it: when you truly care about someone, don't you find ways to fit them into your life? Even during busy periods, you send a quick text, schedule a short call, or make plans for when things calm down. Now ask yourself, is this person doing the same for you? Or are you always the one adjusting, waiting, and making excuses for their unavailability? The real gut punch comes when you see them making time for others. They're out with different friends, attending events, posting on social media, clearly capable of maintaining relationships, just not the one with you. That's when you have to face the uncomfortable reality. They're not too busy, they're just too busy for you. And that distinction makes all the difference. This behavior creates a toxic dynamic where you're constantly chasing their attention. You start lowering your expectations, accepting crumbs of their time, convincing yourself that this is just how they are. But here's what's really happening. Every time you accept being treated as an option rather than a priority, you're teaching them how to treat you. You're showing them that you'll stick around no matter how little effort they put in. The emotional toll is heavy. It chips away at your self-worth, making you question whether you're asking for too much. But here's the truth. Wanting consistent, reciprocal effort in a relationship isn't demanding. It's basic human decency. The right people won't make you feel like a burden for wanting connection. So what should you do? First, stop making excuses for them. Recognize their actions or lack thereof for what they are, a clear message about where you stand in their life. Second, match their energy. If they're putting in minimal effort, do the same. Stop rearranging your schedule for someone who wouldn't do the same for you. And most importantly, redirect that energy toward people who actively want to be in your life. Your time is precious. Don't waste it waiting for someone who's shown you repeatedly that you're not worth their time. Surround yourself with those who make you feel wanted, not like an inconvenience. Because when someone truly values you, they won't just say it. They'll show up and prove it. They bring up your past mistakes. There's something particularly cruel about someone who claims to care about you but constantly resurrects your past mistakes, especially when they do it during disagreements, as if your old errors somehow cancel out their current wrong. This isn't about accountability or growth. It's about control, and it's one of the surest signs that someone doesn't have your best interests at heart. A healthy relationship allows room for growth. We all make mistakes, say things we regret, act in ways we're not proud of. But when someone truly cares about you, they'll address the issue in the moment, then let it go once it's resolved. They won't keep a running tally of your faults to use as ammunition later. That's not forgiveness. That's emotional bookkeeping, waiting for the right moment to make you pay. These people have a particular way of weaponizing your past. In the middle of a completely unrelated argument, they'll suddenly drag up something from years ago. Well, remember when you did X? As if that somehow justifies their current behavior. Or they'll frame it as concern. I'm just worried you'll do that again. When really they're using your past to keep you in line. It's a power play disguised as care. What makes this so damaging is how it traps you in your former self. No matter how much you've grown, changed, or worked on yourself, they refuse to let you move forward. Every time they bring up that old mistake, they're essentially saying, this is who you are, and this is who you'll always be. That's not just unfair, it's emotionally abusive. You start walking on eggshells, afraid that anything you say or do might become another bullet in their chamber. You apologize repeatedly for the same old things. You overcompensate, trying to prove you're not that person anymore. But here's the truth. You shouldn't have to. Real forgiveness doesn't come with strings attached. Either someone has moved past your mistakes, or they haven't, and if they haven't, that's their problem, not yours. So how do you break this cycle? First, call it out. The next time they bring up something from the past, ask directly, why are we talking about this now? I thought we'd moved past that. Second, set firm boundaries. Make it clear that you won't engage in conversations where your past is used against you. And most importantly, stop apologizing for who you used to be. You're allowed to grow. You're allowed to change, and anyone who can't accept that doesn't deserve access to who you are now. Your past mistakes don't define you unless you let them, and you certainly shouldn't let someone else use them to keep you small. True growth happens when we're allowed to leave our worst moments behind us, not when they're constantly held over our head. Surround yourself with people who see who you're becoming, not just who you were. That slight frown, the patronizing tilt of the head, the way their voice drops into that tone, the one that sounds like they're talking to a child who doesn't know any better. Are you sure that's realistic, they ask. I just don't want to see you get hurt. And for a moment, just like that, your excitement dims. Your certainty wavers. That spark of ambition you felt, it flickers under the weight of their skepticism. This isn't concern, this is sabotage. People who secretly resent you have a way of dressing up their disbelief as care. They'll frame their doubt as wisdom, their fear as protection. But make no mistake, when someone consistently undermines your confidence, when they plant seeds of hesitation every time you dare to aim higher, that's not love, that's control. They don't want to see you fail because they care about you. They want to see you hesitate because your ambition threatens them. Think about it. When you share an idea, a goal, a vision for your life, how do the people around you respond? Do their eyes light up with excitement? Do they ask questions, engage with your passion, offer support even if they don't fully understand it? Or do they immediately jump to the worst-case scenario? That sounds risky. Do you really think you can do that? Maybe you should start smaller. These aren't suggestions, they're roadblocks, and they're not placed there for your benefit. The truth is, most people project their own limitations onto others. If they've never dared to dream big, your ambition becomes a mirror they don't want to look into. If they've convinced themselves that playing it safe is the only way, your courage unsettles them. So instead of examining their own fears, they'll try to shrink yours to match. They'll call it being practical. They'll say they're just looking out for you. But deep down, it's simpler than that. Your belief in yourself exposes their lack of belief in themselves. And the worst part, it works. Over time, their words seep into your mind. That little voice of doubt that whispers, what if they're right, starts sounding an awful lot like your own thoughts. You hesitate before taking risks. You second-guess your instincts. You lower your expectations without even realizing it, all because someone else's fear has taken root in your mind. But here's what you need to remember. Their doubt has nothing to do with you. It never did. When someone tells you to be realistic, what they're really saying is, I don't believe it's possible for me or for you. When they warn you about failure, they're telling you about their own relationship with risk, not yours. Their limitations are not yours to inherit. So how do you break free from this? First, stop seeking validation from the wrong people. Not everyone deserves access to your dream. Share them with those who fuel your fire, not those who try to extinguish it. Second, recognize doubt for what it is, a reflection of the doubter, not the dreamer. And most importantly, trust yourself. The people who genuinely want the best for you won't clip your wings before you even take flight. They'll hand you the sky and say, go. Your confidence is sacred. Don't let anyone, no matter how close they are, make you feel like it's something you need to justify. The world will try to shrink you enough as it is. Don't help it by listening to those who want you to stay small. Because here's the secret they don't want you to know. The moment you stop asking for permission to dream, the moment you stop letting their fear dictate your steps, is the moment you become unstoppable. And that's exactly what they're afraid of. 8. You feel drained after every interaction. There's a feeling you can't quite shake, one that lingers long after the conversation ends. It sits heavy in your chest, a dull weight that wasn't there before. You replay the interaction in your head, searching for the moment things shifted, but it's hard to pinpoint. Nothing they said was overtly cruel. No shouting, no insults, nothing you could easily call out. Just a slow, steady drain on your energy, leaving you exhausted in a way that sleep doesn't fix. This isn't normal fatigue. This is the cost of spending time with someone who takes far more than they give. Think about the people in your life, the ones who leave you feeling lighter after you talk, the ones whose presence feels like a deep breath of fresh air. Now think about the ones who leave you feeling like you've just run an emotional marathon. That difference isn't random. It's not a coincidence. It's a message. one you'd be wise to listen to. Toxic people have a way of turning even the simplest conversations into emotional labor. They don't just talk to you, they take from you. Every interaction becomes an exercise in managing their moods, navigating their passive-aggressive comments, or suppressing your own thoughts to avoid setting them off. They might dominate the conversation, turning your venting session into their own personal monologue, or they'll play the victim, ensuring you walk away feeling guilty for reasons you can't explain. Sometimes it's even subtler: a well-timed sigh, a dismissive glance, a backhanded compliment wrapped in just enough sweetness to make you question whether you imagined the sting. And here's the dangerous part: because it's not outright abuse, because there's no single moment you can point to and say this was unacceptable, you convince yourself you're overreacting. You blame your own sensitivity. You tell yourself it's not that bad, but your body knows better. That heaviness you feel isn't in your head. It's your intuition screaming at you to pay attention. These relationships follow a predictable cycle. You leave an interaction feeling drained, so you pull back to recover. Then guilt creeps in: maybe you're being unfair. Maybe they didn't mean it that way, so you give them another chance. And the cycle repeats. Over time, you start to accept exhaustion as the price of their company. But ask yourself, when did you start believing love had to feel like this? When did you decide your peace was negotiable? The truth is, hate doesn't always look like hatred. Sometimes it looks like someone who insists they care while consistently leaving you worse off than they found you. Sometimes it's the person who claims to love you but never fails to leave you feeling small. And the most insidious part: the more you tolerate it, the more you start to believe you deserve it. Breaking free starts with trusting yourself. That exhaustion you feel, it's data. Pay attention to it. Start noticing how you feel before you interact with them versus how you feel after. If the answer is consistently worse, that's not a flaw in you, it's a reflection of them. You don't owe anyone access to you if their presence costs you your peace. Not family, not friends, not partner. No relationship is worth your self-worth. The people who truly care about you won't leave you scrambling to recover from their presence. They'll leave you fuller, not emptier. So the next time you walk away from someone feeling like you've been emotionally pickpocketed, don't dismiss, don't rationalize it. Listen, your energy is precious. Guard it accordingly, because the right people won't leave you drained. They'll leave you reminded of why connection is worth having in the first place. Here's the hard truth: not everyone in your life is meant to stay, and that's okay. Your time, energy, and trust, they're gifts, not obligations. The second you realize someone's secretly rooting against you, that's the second you stop giving them power. So let's recap. If they never reach out, give shady compliments. Copy but never celebrate you, gaslight, flake, hold grudges, crush your confidence, or leave you drained, they don't hate you out loud, they hate you in silence. And silence, that's your cue to walk away.